Hi, welcome to another episode of the Entrepreneur Spotlight series. This time I have a guest who has been incredible. I've been following her on social media. She puts out incredible content, always adding value to her viewers. And her name is Leah Hall, and she works with women to help them get clear about, why they're getting into business and help turn their hobbies into a profitable business. So, without any further delay, let's jump into the conversation. Hi, Leah. It's amazing to have you on the show. It's another episode of the Entrepreneur Spotlight, and I'm so happy you could take the time to come and share your, about your business, yourself, and the wisdom that you have and you've been sharing with other women. So, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here. So I'm Leah Hall of leahhall.co, and I serve women who have either started their own business and they want to rebrand or relaunch, or women who have a dream or a desire and they really want to start, but they're being flooded with, trying to Google everything on their own, and they're trying to do this by themselves, or they purchase programs that really don't help them. And so what I do is I actually partner with them. It's more of a holistic approach to starting their business. I want to make sure that as a woman, they're okay and they're positioning themselves in a way where they can be successful. So my business is really working with women who want to leave a legacy, who want to define their own life on their own terms.
Oh, I love that. And I love what you said about leaving a legacy. Sometimes we just lose sight of it and we are in the moment, but we don't think long term, right? So I would love to know a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey, because it seems that you had quite a setback before you actually moved forward with your business. I'd love to hear about that.
Sure. So my journey into entrepreneurship started probably in 2006. My very first business was a pet sitting company, and I worked for an attorney's office. And so I would pet sit anytime they had to travel, or if they were going out for the weekend, or whatever the case was. And that was a spark. That was like, okay, this is what life should be. This is how it should be, going to a job or doing a job that's more like a joy versus, oh, I really don't want to do this. Mm-hmm. So it started in 2006. But I was also one of those people that would check off the boxes. So you're supposed to go to high school, finish high school, then go to college, find the perfect partner, get married, and then have children. And I did that in that order, right? Mm-hmm. So I was at my job for 10 years, and the stress was too much. I ended up getting ill, leaving my job in an ambulance. And I remember laying in the hospital bed and looking at my husband. He was sitting in a chair and he was holding our baby, who was maybe, I think she was like 5 or 6 months at that time.
Oh my goodness.
And our toddler son. And I just started crying, and I was like, what am I doing? I'm trying to do everything right. I'm trying to be strong and go into work and all of those fun things, but it wasn't conducive to my health or to my family. And so for me, it was like, okay, let me go back and really look internally and see, okay, what do I do well? What have I been doing? Mm-hmm. Which was mentoring, which was helping other people start their business, which was writing business plans, getting legalese in order, and doing all those types of things. And I said, I'm going to step out there and stop being afraid, and I'm going to do this for myself and for my family. Mm-hmm. And at first it started out under a different name because I was a little afraid of being public, right? Like, unless you're a superstar or you just really, really love yourself in that manner, it's hard to say you want to be the face of your business. And so for me, I was hiding behind my post. I was hiding behind my copy and the beautiful imagery out there, the stock images. Mm-hmm. And I spoke to Danielle Leslie, and she was like, you really have to you have to do it as a personal brand. And I did, and life has flourished. And I'm very happy that I did it in that manner. Mm-hmm. And so my journey right now is it's unbelievable. taking that step into entrepreneurship has allowed me to meet so many wonderful women like yourself. And I see that all those years I was in fear of social media and stepping out there was just time wasted, because it's been a complete joy.
A lot of us, and like you said, hiding behind your copy and the beautiful stock imagery, a lot of us do that. And I'm guilty of that myself, because before I became like Women Who Win with Toni Chowdhury, it was Startup Success Strategies.
Really?
And I hid behind that, and I didn't want to put myself on camera. So what was the shift in your mind? Maybe somebody might get value from that, if you wouldn't mind sharing it.
The shift was, there wasn't a plan B. So my only plan was plan A, and I had to be successful. And so if I was the only thing in the middle between my success, then I was like, well, why are you doing that? That's absurd. Like, you spent so much money going to school to get your undergrad and your grad degree. You spent so much time in corporate America, private sector, working with churches and in my own community, until I was like, well, that is just, there's so many women that I've met, and I didn't think I would make an impact. Not saying it boastfully, but it's more like, wow, I didn't know that my journey would lead to where it is now. But just taking that first step and getting the response, I was like, okay, maybe I am doing okay. Maybe I'm doing this right. And so for anyone who's struggling with not being the face of their business or not taking that first step, I want them to ask themselves, why would I not? What you have for someone, the longer you wait, the longer it will take for them to be successful as well. So like, if you are a coach, if you are someone who can help someone in their health, if you are a mentor, someone needs you. And when you make that first step, you'll see the transition. It doesn't have to be overnight, but that one person that you meet and you make that difference, you'll be like, oh my God, that's my aha moment. I see why I needed to do this.
So what does your day look like now that you're your own boss and everything, and you have kids? So what does your day look like? Like, what could we as entrepreneurs look forward to if we kind of succeed in our own ways?
So my two bosses are 3 and 5. So,
I love that.
I still have many bosses that dictate my day, but I try to schedule as much as possible. My phone has helped a lot. Google Calendar has helped a lot. So like, if there's something important going on, or if there's a scheduled meeting, hearing that alarm 15 to 20 minutes prior allows me to like mentally check back in and say, okay, this is the time that I need to go and do X, Y, and Z. But for me, my day starts early. It starts before my family starts to move, because I need to take out time to do my affirmations, to give myself permission to be successful for the day, to get my water intake started, just to like meditate and pray and say, okay, here's a new day. Whatever challenges are coming, I'm not going to let them defeat me, but I'm going to keep moving forward. And then the morning portion, I homeschool my children as well.
Oh,
so
wow.
So the morning portion is dedicated strictly to my children. After I take time, that's why I need my time in the morning.
Absolutely.
Because 2 little ones, it's a lot. And so I spend my mornings with my children doing homeschooling. And then we break for either like their recess or or their lunchtime. And then when they go down for their nap, then my day starts. And I've had some people send me DMs like, why does your calendar start so late? Like, what's going on? And I have to tell them, my time in the morning, it's not flexible. I really have that because my children are so important to me, and their education is very important to me. And if I'm not serving my family well, I can't serve anyone else well. So my schedule literally is me in the morning trying to get my day started, then my children, and then my work. And even, dinner time, it's pausing work, taking care of the family again. And then I'm a late night worker as well. So it's really all about scheduling and identifying what's important to you, and not being overwhelmed. If I don't get it done today, I'm okay with that, because tomorrow's another opportunity. And whatever I didn't get done, I just move it to the top.
Incredible. Wow. I can't believe that you're homeschooling your kids and you're you're an entrepreneur, and wow. But I suppose that kind of gives you the freedom, being an entrepreneur, being your own boss, even though you have other bosses, and it gives you that that freedom, that time freedom, and the location freedom as well, to be where you want to be, and do your, create change in the world. That is incredible. Yeah.
I wish I would have done it sooner, but again, I was so afraid. Like it's not normal to have, a small family or small children, and my partner and my husband, and saying, okay, nope, we're going to step away from all these benefits that corporate America offers, so it's very different. And for a while I was kind of like, did I do this right? Am I making the right decision? But I knew my children are everything. My family is everything. So
yeah. That's incredible. That's an incredible story. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm sure a
thank you.
lot of people will be, they'll get more confidence, I think, from just hearing your story and how you went about it. So, so I like to talk about the struggles, because more often than not, as entrepreneurs, especially with social media where it is today, everybody's flaunting their cars and their houses and their whatever, right? So we kind of tend to feel small, and we are not good enough, and who are we, and that imposter syndrome and all that. Did you have to, like, I know you mentioned you were hiding behind your copy and the imagery, but did you ever feel that, like, and what did you do about it?
Oh, I still feel it. I have days. I was telling my husband the other day, I said, I feel like maybe I'm not, as a mother and as a wife, like I almost had to put my life in buckets. So there's the entrepreneur, the mompreneur, then there's the mother, and then there's the wife. And some days I don't know if I'm putting all that I need to in every single bucket to make it full. And some days it can be really overwhelming when you look on social media and there's these women that I look up to, and I see that they're just blossoming, like they're hitting the points that I'm working on hitting. Like, so I'm doing my copy on this particular tip or something, and like they do it that day, and I'm like, oh wait, I didn't do it fast enough. Wait, I'm behind. And so I get down on myself, or I see these women who the pictures get us every single time, that they're just doing so well. And it can be difficult. So I don't know if anyone ever gets past that point. But for me, I mean, I'll be very honest. I still struggle and say, okay, I did like encourage myself and say, okay, you can do this. Look what you've done. Look what you're doing. Look what you're managing, and it's okay. So even on this journey, don't come into it thinking that it's just going to be one, like you're going to be a star overnight, because that's not my goal. But it's not an overnight success. If you're getting into it for the money, it's probably not the right fit, because it does take a long time, and you're going to put even more energy into it because your name is on it. Right. But then you're going to see all these beautiful accounts and all these lovely feeds and galleries. And so it's really about just saying, okay, I'm right here and I'm impacting my community, and not so much worrying about the others.
I mean, I could keep talking to you forever, but you're so full of wisdom, and, like, I would love to hear your stories. But just because we have limited time, if you were to, if somebody were to come to you and they're starting off their business, what would be the one thing you would tell them when they're starting off?
Ooh, that's a good one, Toni. Let's see. So I'm a millennial as well. And I totally agree with what she was saying about limiting your time. And I think part of it, or what I would explain to someone, is perspective. Like, go into it with a clear perspective. Again, don't go into it thinking it's an overnight success. Don't go in thinking that you have to compare yourself to others. And don't get wrapped up in the follow, unfollow, because those three things can be very dangerous, and they can really do more harm than good when you're trying to start out. What I even share with my clients is, we go through the whole process of your why. Like, why are you getting started? What is it about your story that will connect to your audience? Who is your audience? I think a lot of times people try to speak to everyone so that they can have a growing, profitable business. But again, if you're speaking to everyone, then you're literally speaking to no one, because your voice it's not being heard by all those different people. So for me, if someone who was starting out, I would tell them, know why you're starting. And really, like, I'm big on writing. Write it out. What is your plan? Like, even if you just draw a circle and draw lines out, and say, okay, this is my plan. This is why I want to do it. This is who I want to talk to. And this is what I want to help them with. And for me, I even go back to that sometimes if I feel myself getting overwhelmed, just to say, okay, Leah, this is why you started. Remember, you're helping women. When I first started, it was women with mothers who had small children, because we were missing out on those milestones that we would never get back. And so I have to remind myself, okay, even though it's transition and I work with more women that only have fur babies, put it that way, it's still very important. It's still very important for me to go back and remind myself, okay, Leah, this is why you started. So for anyone who's doing it, I would never discourage anyone and say, don't do it, because this world needs everyone's voice. There is someone 2 states away from me who I can make an impact, 3 states away from you that you can make an impact. So I would just tell them to know your why. And then those 3 things about social media, don't allow those to deter you or to discourage you, because it's very discouraging when people unfollow you and we take it personally. So.
Exactly. So tell me a little bit about how, suppose I want to work with you. Where do I find you? How do I get started?
Perfect. So my website is leahhall.co. On Instagram, I'm spending probably way too much time there, but it's leahhall.co. On Pinterest, I'm also leahhall.co. And I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook, but I'm also on Facebook as well. So, but if you connect with me on Instagram, it's probably the easiest way right now.
Well, thank you so much. I really loved what you said. And folks, just hit her up on social media, on her website. Go check her out on her website. Follow her and let her know that you watched the video and you took away some wisdom from it.